ago, I uploaded a video where I asked well, basically the premise of the video was a lot of younger black men do not want solutions, they just want to complain. But as a few hours have went by and I've been thinking about it, I figured I want to add on to that. I want to make some amendments and some addendums to that. I want to put some more context on that because truthfully, it's not just that. And so the question that I really have is not just for younger guys. This question is really for guys like age like 45 on down. It's not just the young guys. I'm talking about guys age 45 and down. And it's a serious question. I'm not trolling. Let's talk about it. Do you want to win more than you want to justify losing? Don't get upset. Don't get mad. I want you to really think about that. Do you want to win more than you want to justify losing? And let me expound on that. When I say win, a lot of us, not all of us, but a lot of us have a particular outcome that we want to have in terms of legacy and family and children and women and, how we're going to live out this second half of life. Because if you like 35 and older, you in the halfway point. So the second half is coming up. And so a lot of us have a particular way we want to live in this second half of life in terms of the type of relationships and family and all of that, right? And so my question is, since a lot of us have not secured that in the first half, many of us have resigned ourselves to justifying why we haven't won. Right? Like, to continue with the sports analogy, you're at the halfway point of life, maybe a little bit before that or a little bit after that. And so you can see the scoreboard, right? And you're not where you want to be or close to where you want to be, right? And so the question becomes, do you really want to win? So are you going to make the adjustments and figure out what you need to figure out and change the things you need to change? Or are you looking at the scoreboard and all the first half is gone and so we're just going to justify losing? Now let's talk about how we justify losing, because I've been around these spaces for a few years now, right? And the first thing I noticed several years ago was every happy black man. When I say happy black man, I'm talking about happy with where he is in life, where he's going, happy with his outcomes. Every happy black man was dismissed using two tactics. The first tactic was he's a simp, the woman is running him, he's putting on the face, but the situation is not really as happy as he's claiming it to be. Or the second tactic was he's an anomaly, he's defied the odds, he's beat the statistics, he's a 1 in a million kind of guy, he got lucky. Those are the two tactics that you always hear when it comes to a black man with outcomes talking to those who have not yet reached outcomes. It's either he's simping, he's settling, it's not really as good as he's making the claim to be, the woman is running him, all this other kind of stuff, or he's an anomaly. He got lucky. The average black man ain't going to get what he got. What's going on, Jackson? That's how that goes. And so that is what, brother, God bless you too. Shout out to Anna. That's my question. Make sure you hit the like button, right? That's the thing. And I know, once again, I know it was this years ago. Anytime a brother comes up and he's and he's got the outcomes, it's always, you're a simp, you're a blue pill. Always. I can remember times when like panels were very popular. Guys would automatically get upset and get triggered and get mad and start the ad hominem personal attacks and not letting somebody finish their statements and making all these wild accusations about how unhappy their life really is. The mere presence of a man with outcomes on panels got guys wild up. And you got to jump down his throat. You got to attack them, and he's not really happy, and all this other kind of stuff. And so that's why I asked the question: do you want to win more than you want to justify losing? Because seriously, when a guy with results, his mere presence sets you off, and now everybody got to jump on him and attack him and make all these wild accusations about how his life not really happy and how he's a simp and how he's blue pill and he can't finish a sentence. Like, come on now. That means that the mere presence that this guy has outcomes makes you upset and makes you mad. And a lot of the reason for that is you have convinced yourself, you have resigned to the fact that, hey, I'm not going to get the outcomes. And you know what? It's really not my fault I'm not going to get it because feminism is doing this and the black community is a gynocracy and, the black, these Democrats is doing this and, the Moynihan report and the government gave these women welfare and, you just run down the list. Modern black women are doing this and Western women are doing that. And the list goes on and on and on. You've already convinced yourself and you got, like, seriously, if you listen to guys talk, they don't have just one reason. As the years have gone on, oh yes, you can definitely donate if you want to. There should be a super chat button on there. Also, you can always send the Cash App. It's $sign Clarence Conway, I believe. It should be in the description, if not in this video, but in another video. But you can always hit the super chat button. But you sure can. But let me get back to this. Like, I don't know if you've noticed this, but I've noticed this. As time has went on, there's not just one explanation, right? It's spent too much time in these spaces talking about, the issue. So they don't have just one reason at this point, right? They got a whole list now. They got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different reasons why at this point. So once again, it's because of third wave feminism, right? It's because of leftist policies and tearing down the family. It's because the politicians gave welfare and broke up the family. It's because the black community is a gynocracy. It's because black women don't respect black men because of white supremacy and the residue of slavery. Have you noticed that? There's not just one. Now it's 10 different reasons now. I don't have the outcomes I want to have in my life in terms of women and outcomes. And it's all these different reasons for it outside of me. It's nothing that I did and it's nothing that I can do. It's all these other things. And so when guys come around you with outcomes, once again, he's a simp. He got lucky. His situation really ain't that good. I bet you. And if you stay around in these spaces long enough, you hear all this stuff. I bet you he living off of his woman, and he in a sexist marriage, and she be cheating, and she be disrespecting him, and all these things it's all these different stuff going on. It's like you can't really be happy. Or if you are happy, oh man, you just got lucky, man. You found a needle in a haystack. And so once again, that's really the question that I have is, do you want to win more than you want to justify losing? And once again, I understand. We've all been through stuff, right? Mom issues, dad issues, trauma, pains, all kind of stuff. Listen, understand. I've had my fair share of situations too. You got to understand. I was born in 1988, right? By the end of 1999, both parents were dead. Dad died at 40 years old. Mom died at 45 years old. So that they didn't even live long lives. They didn't see 60s. They was gone early. By the time I went to middle school, no parents, no grandparents. So we all got stuff that we had to overcome. And so I'm not downplaying that. But what I'm saying is, once again, do you want to win more than you want everybody to understand why you lost? Do you want to win more than you want to bond with everybody else as to why you lost? Because it's a lot of that going on. A lot of that going on. It's like, come on, bro. Like, seriously. Every dude that figured it out, he's a simp. He took a bad deal. He's put on a straight face, but behind the scenes it's not that good. The woman's running him. The woman is doing this. The situation is that. Or he's an anomaly. He got lucky. That's everybody. There's no brothers out here that had some of the same struggles that you had that just worked through it and overcame. Nobody. It's like, man. And I want you to really think about that, because if you find yourself with a whole list, a whole long list of all these different reasons as to why you can't have what you want to have, and you got all these reasons and explanations and excuses for why somebody else who looks just like you and isn't rich or a millionaire has it, you got all these reasons to justify why they got it and you don't. Something going on there. If you get proposed things to try and solutions that you can implement, and every single one of them is like, that ain't gonna work, that ain't gonna work. Listen, some of us are resigned to the fact that we're gonna lose. And it doesn't matter what somebody suggests to you, you automatically dismiss it. It ain't gonna work. I can tell you, hey man, you want to find a good woman, go look in the church. Oh man, all the hoes is in the church. I can tell you, hey man, go get a woman from another culture. Oh man, they racist against the black man, and the family gonna do this, that, and they stay the same. It's really the marriage laws in the entire country. It ain't just that. So basically, what you're saying is, there's no winning. And if you really listen to guys talk, that's what they've resigned themselves to. The women don't want to be married by and large. The marriage laws are bad overall. Divorce ruins men. She's going to take your kids from you. She's not loyal. It's like you've met every woman in matter of fact, you haven't met all the women in your city, let alone in your state, let alone in the country, and you just absolute that this is what it is. I'm telling you, going forward, when you start to listen to some of these guys some more, you're going to be saying, man, they got a whole lot of explanations as to why I can't have it. They got a whole lot of theories on whose fault it is, and it's never their fault. And no matter what you throw out there to them, no matter what it is, they always tell you that it won't work. Finding a Christian woman, that ain't gonna work. Finding a Muslim woman, that ain't gonna work. Going overseas, that ain't gonna work. Dealing with a non-African American black woman, Caribbean and all that, that ain't gonna work. Dealing with a whole nother race, that ain't gonna work. Self-improvement, that ain't gonna work. Cutting off rude, disrespectful women, not even paying them no mind, being indifferent, that ain't gonna work. It does not matter what is suggested to them, they are going to tell you it ain't gonna work. And so at a certain point, you got to ask yourself, okay, if your conclusion is that nothing's going to work, it's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different reasons as to why things are so bad, and none of those reasons are your fault. If everybody that does have outcomes is either lying about their incomes or they just got lucky, and there's no hope, then why are we talking about it every single day? You got to talk every day? It doesn't make any sense. Other than you need to constantly reassure yourself. You need constant affirmation that no, it's not me. And so you got to get, man. And so we got to sit around and talk with other men every day so that we can reassure one another that it's not our fault. So we can reassure one another that there's nothing that we can do. Every day you got to get online with other men and y'all got to convince each other not to take action. Because otherwise, it's just going to be you and your thoughts. And now you got to deal with yourself. And eventually you're going to ask yourself, why am I not taking action? Think about it. If you didn't get online and listen to and correspond with people who talk about every day how there's no hope and how this ain't going to work and you don't do this, if you didn't do that, you'd be alone with your thoughts. And eventually your thoughts will tell you to take an action. But once again, you want to justify not having the outcomes more than you want the actual outcome. That's the only way to look at it. Just being 100% honest. That is the only way to look at it. Your reasons, your story, your excuses, your theories are more important to you than actually going after what it is you say you want. I want you to really think about that. Seriously. I understand. Because listen, going after it and getting it, it's a long process. Like this mentality that I have right now, it took me years. It took years. I had to change up the different content creators and content I was consuming and listening to. And I would be listening to content about turning your life around and changing your situation and fixing this and fixing that. I listened to that stuff for years before I ever actually implemented it. Like I was listening to content about getting out of debt and fixing your credit and saving money and stacking up and doing it. I was listening to that type of content for several years before I actually did it. So if you really want to win, the first step you got to do is you just have to start listening to winners. There's so much motivational stuff out here and how to do this and how to do that from people who have actually done it, and they'll actually show it to you. Not theory, not, oh, buy this course, buy this book. No, you can just subscribe to their channel and they'll give you information for free that you can see that they apply to their actual life. There's so many people in so many different areas that you can just sit there and just take in that information and just keep taking it in until it takes hold in your mind. That's what you got to do. Because this was going to happen. The moment you start seeking out real information, the moment you start seeking out different content, what you're going to notice is the content that you are consuming about changing your situation and bettering your situation is going to grow. And the amount of content that you're consuming that's always talking about woe is me and this is so bad and the woman this and the woman that, it's going to decrease. Because once you start listening to this stuff over here, it's going to suggest you more stuff over here. And it's going to say, okay, well, you like this guy who was talking about getting on your feet and doing that, this, that, and the third. Maybe you'll like this one. Oh, you like that one too? Maybe you'll like this one. You going to eat your corn. What's that? Money, Mancini. That's funny. I'm not, that's funny. That's a good one. So you must be a little older because you know that movie. These young whippersnappers, they don't know about that movie Life. But that's a good one. But I'm telling you, that's what you got to do. You have to start listening to people that talk about healthy relationships, healthy financial decisions, growing, developing, winning, setting plans. 21? What you know about the movie Life and you 21 years old? Because the more you start listening to that content, you'll get suggested more of that content. And you'll be, here's the craziest thing. You don't really, a lot of us, we don't really understand how big the world is. The world is huge. And once your content starts to change, you'll see that. Once you start to follow this one motivational person, then next thing you know, they'll suggest this other one. Then this other one. Next thing you know, you in this whole other side of YouTube that you didn't even know existed. I remember one day I stumbled across this dude worth $100 million that was just talking about handling business and all this other kind of stuff. And man, the only reason I came across the dude and his channel in the first place was because I was listening to somebody else that was talking about getting yourself together and doing this, that, and the third. And then they interviewed him. And from the interview with him, that's how I found out who I'm trying to tell you. Yeah, The Wood is a great movie. The Wood was a good one. I've seen that movie probably like 10 times. My favorite movie is probably it's hard to say. But yeah, that one's up there though. But I'm telling you, that's how that goes. But a lot of us, instead of us listening or coming behind content that's giving us advice and pointers and tips on how to get better in life, We're listening to channels that's talking about it ain't your fault. It's all the women. And guess what? This is the algorithm works the same way in the opposite direction as well. So the moment you click on a video where a guy's talking about it ain't my fault, it's the women and the Western women is this and the culture is that and blah 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 blah. The moment you click on his video, they're gonna suggest to you another guy that's talking like that, and another guy that's talking like that. And next thing you know, your whole timeline is filled with men making excuses and pointing fingers. And their whole way of making money is by you paying them to tell you why you can't win. Let me run that back and then we get on up out of here. Because I really want y'all to think about that. Some of you click on, you subscribe to people who always talk about what's wrong with the women, what's wrong with the culture, what's wrong with the Democrats, what's wrong with this, what's wrong with that. And my outcomes is not my fault. It's a society, it's this, it's that. They got all these excuses, all these explanations, all these conspiracy theories. And because you clicked on that and you keep watching that, they keep suggesting to you the same content over and over and over again. And so now you're at a point where every time you get online, all you're hearing all day, every day is explanations and excuses and conspiracy theories as to why you can't win. And you don't even understand that you are paying people to tell you why you can't win. They're paying their bills by telling you why you can't win. So once again, I want you to think about it. Do you want to win more than you want to justify losing? Yeah, what Republicans run the world? What you kind of? Yeah, of course I brush my teeth, man. What's kind of, man? Yeah, see y'all trying to Joan today. All right, I see y'all. Okay, I see y'all trying to Joan. If you go on Joan, at least hit the like button. I forgot. I'm a little older. I might not know what cracking jokes. That's what Joan means. All right. But if you go on Joan, at least hit the like button. You know. But seriously, I really want you to think about that. If you're sitting around and it's third wave feminism and it's, Black America is a gynocracy and it's these democratic policies and it's because they gave black women welfare and kicked a man out of the house. And if you got more explanations as to why you can't have what you want to have than you do plans on how to get it, what we doing? Like real talk, what we doing? Like, we got to really start to think about this. If every time a guy with outcomes comes around, and up north, I'm from Maryland, went to school, I've been in the DMV area my whole life, so I guess you can call that the north. But if when individuals come around with outcomes and say, hey, do this or try that, if everything that's suggested to you automatically dismiss and say it won't work, or he don't know what he's talking about, because that's another thing too. No matter who it is and what they say, oh, he don't know what he's talking about, it ain't gonna work. If he's an older single dude, you're gonna say, he older and he ain't married, so how he know? If he's older and married, well, he been married this whole time, so he don't know what's going on right now. If he's young and single, well, he know what's going on right now, but he not married, so he don't know what work. If he's younger and married, oh, well, he just got lucky. So if you are now in a position where no matter what's suggested to you, you automatically dismiss it as it ain't gonna work. And no matter what person comes to you and says, try this, you automatically dismiss them and they don't know what they're talking about. At that point, if we're going to be honest, justifying losing is more important than winning to you. Like, come on now. And this is more so to you younger guys, right? Because this is the part that I don't understand. I said I was done, but this just came to me just now. This is the part I really don't understand. Like younger guys, like 29 on down. I really want you to think about this because I don't understand this part at all. If an older individual comes to you and tells you all hope is not lost, why don't you try A, B, C, or D? Y'all are quick to dismiss him. He don't know what he talking about. He out of touch. He da-da-da-da-da. But if an older person comes to you and tells you there's no hope, you say, yeah, that's right. And you don't question him at all. And you'll subscribe to his channel and, all that. I don't explain that to me. Why is it that the guy that's telling you that there is hope and you should try this and and try this and try that out, the older guy who's saying, hey, all hope is not lost, why don't you try these things? Man, fuck that old nigga. He don't know what he's talking about. But when the dude who come along, who clearly don't have the outcomes because he's telling you all hope is lost, he come around, yeah, man, it's over with. Don't worry about it. All hope is lost. You gravitate right to him. Don't scrutinize what he's saying or nothing. Yeah, he know what he talking about. He a real one. So I don't understand that. Any regulation-wise, I would encourage you to find it. See, this is what I'm talking about, Nico. Nico, how old are you, Nico? I guarantee you Nico was in like his early to mid-20s. I guarantee you. I guarantee you. I bet you ain't gonna answer. But how old is Nico? I'm wondering. That's a silly comment. But see, that's how I know you kind of young though. You say because you talking about looks. You gotta understand, man. Looks is not as important to get women as you think. Number one. And number two, maybe you ain't figured this out yet, but looks online and looks in real life, never mind. You'll figure it out one day, hopefully. But I guarantee you, I got a strong feeling Nico is probably like mid-20s or younger. And I'm not trying to improve you, Nico. That's another thing. I got one last point, right? Then I'm really gonna get out of here for real, right? Young people. When I say young people, I mean 30 and under. Why do y'all always assume that somebody is trying to correct you or lecture you or save you or I don't understand that. If an older person is giving their perspective, then they're giving their perspective. If you don't agree with their perspective, that's the thing. It's like, I notice this a lot with younger guys. Yeah, thank you, Yolanda. I notice this a lot with younger guys. When an older person is saying, hey, why don't you try this? Why don't you try that? They never say, I know that does not work because I tried that. No, they kind of change the subject to something else. And it's like, listen, if you don't want to try it, you don't have to try it. If you don't agree with what I'm saying, you don't have to listen. Like, like, man, I don't. And I notice, Nico, you're not telling me your age. Probably because I'm right about your age. I'm almost certain about that. Can't be no older than 26. At least I hope not. I hope not. But yeah, I just don't understand that. Like, younger guys, particularly in the black community, right? They get so upset when somebody older than them suggests something to them. Like, what's wrong with you over here? You trying to, like, listen, I understand you're not, maybe you never had a masculine figure in your life. I understand that. But if ain't nobody coming at you crazy, calling your name, something like that, there's no reason for, like, a lot of you young guys, y'all got just unnecessary energy, It's not necessary. Right? If you think you got it figured out, then okay, cool. Salute to you. That's one thing about me. Like, if you got it figured out, I ain't mad at you. If you already got your money up and you doing your thing, and man, salute to you, man. I'll be the first to tell you, man, I wish I would have figured that out at your age, So, hey, keep doing your thing. I don't understand it. But once again, and that proves my point. Because if I was on here saying, man, it's these women, man, and you can't trust these women and these women, wouldn't nobody be having no problem with what I'm saying. But the moment you want to call a younger person higher, now they upset. Now they got a problem. It's like, oh, hey, man, I don't know what to tell you, But hey, man, Father's Day just passed, man. I had a wonderful day. I don't know about you, I had a wonderful Father's Day, Before I hopped on this live, I had a lovely dinner that I did not prepare for myself tonight. So, hey, I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay. I don't get it, I don't understand. No, actually, I do understand. A lot of younger brothers, they're upset, they're angry. The older men that, they came up around, let them down in a lot of different ways. So I understand that, but at the same time, you don't got to bring that energy to everybody. Like, I wasn't there. I'm not that much older. I'm older than you, but I'm not that. Like, I'm only 35. I was born in the 90s. Like, if you in your 20s, I guess technically you would be, I'm old enough to be your dad, technically, but realistically, like, nah. Like, I had a child pretty young. I was 24 at the time. My child is going to be 12 this year. But y'all like 24, 25, like I don't get it, man. For real. It's strange. Like, it's an interesting energy, especially when all you're saying is like, hey, all hope is not lost. You can still win. You can still have what you want to have. You just got to change your mindset. Oh, fuck you, old nigga. It's like, damn. Damn, they be mad as hell. Man, they get mad. Woo, boy, they get mad. Man, they get real upset, boy, I tell you. And it's like, man, I don't get it, but I'm not Nico, I'm not painting a narrative. I was just on here saying, hey, man, all hope is not lost. Try something new. And then you came with the, oh, you ugly nigga. It's like, damn, where they come from? Like, damn, where they come from, homie? Like, woo, calm down, That's all it was, But anyway, man, I got to get up out of here, man. I'm going to enjoy the outcomes, Peace out.